ために最も必要なもの、それは運です。
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Project WEBTOONs podcast, coming at you live from the airways with the hottest, latest in the webtoons and the manhwas all over the globe. Of course, it is me, your big man, it is Sleepy, along with my reverend and just spectacular host here. Co-host, sorry.
I was chewing.
You were chewing?
What?
I mean, I can't see you. I can't tell when you're moving your lips. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're back here one more time to talk with some of the newest chapters of our favorite and latest webtoons. Of course, we're talking that Mookhyang solo leveling, beginning after the end, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, Peerless Dad, and many more. But as always, before we get started into this, if you haven't already, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know what you want to hear, see more of. If you want to leave a comment down below. If not always, kick that like if you enjoyed the video. But I'm definitely ready for some talks this week because we got a few things that happened here. How about you, Ark? Are you chewing again?
Huh?
Said, are you chewing again?
I said yes.
Oh, okay. I can't tell once again. You really need to get that wing fix, man. That fin. Actually, how is that doing? Is that healed at all, really? It's been a while. You're not that much of an old person.
It's better, but that was me. It's like, man, there's sometimes where my feet just give out. It's not good.
So old. So old. It's good. You were growing the beard perfectly for this moment. Now you're right at that level. You've almost hit true grandmaster status. It's close enough. But anywho, let's go ahead and let's jump right into some of our newest chapters from this week, though. I'm going to start us right out of the gate for one that we normally don't get to, with the greatest in that series of the women, with the Dark Lady himself, Mookhyang. So, I'm trying to remember where we stopped off here. We were at 117. The wars already started. Dark had pulled out his one and only Titan to take on the entire army solo ball by himself, and easily decimated the forces. But as the battle was closing up, our old dragon, the redhead, showed up, and she looked like she had some words with Dark, and specifically about his Titan. And we found out in that chapter that later on, the Titan that he has is made with the dragon's heart. So it contains essentially the soul.
Every single Titan, like
not every single one.
They somewhat have pieces of a dragon heart, but how big is two different things. His Titan specifically has like a huge chunk.
I don't think all of the Titans have dragon hearts. All of them. I think that this one has way much more. Most of the other ones have like enough power to run off of it, or pieces of dragon. Because I mean, if that were the case, then the idea of like even the Titans in general would be like just so much worse. But yeah, 1 sec. Oh, it's just I'm playing. Yeah, but because when she's explaining it, she's like, this Titan and like some of the other Titans are made with pieces of the dragon, but not. I don't think the manufacturing of all of them, just because of the dragons don't fear them as much right now. But they said if they were to make more of the Titans out of dragons, then they would become lower on the food chain, that it would become a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't think like his the Salamander Cruise Titans don't have dragon bits in them, but his does, and a fair amount more at least. Yeah, so she explains that, and she thought, oh, you're just gonna grow up to be you're trying to be a dragon slayer, and he's like, no, I don't give a crap about that. I didn't even know this had that in there, and I didn't care. And he, like, the Titan just backs off because it realized it was about to be destroyed. and he gives her his sword, which is made of his dad's bone. And then she goes, "What's this for?" And he goes, "I don't need it. I could fight you right now all on my own, and let me prove it." And he just tosses a rock, and the mountain in the background just explodes. And they're like, yeah. Dark is pretty much showing that he doesn't care about, extra tools to do the job. He's all about being the strongest he can himself, and using anything else really is more like a handicap for him. He just uses them more because it's like, oh, well, this is powerful, and it's fun. So yeah, that whole chapter was just, I don't know if it was just a real quick to just bring her back in to like let everyone know like she's gonna be here more often kind of thing, or
no. She's like watching him, like she's literally, she is serious about the game.
She's literally stalking him, yeah.
Yeah.
More than anything, she's straight up stalking him. So, yeah.
He's like, no, I thought that was just stupid banter. I don't want any part of this. But like when she sees how powerful he is, she's just like, you know what? I'm willing to consider it. He may be human, but that's not really human, is it?
You may be human, you may be a woman, but I'm willing to overlook those things. Yeah. So, right after that, though, that whole battle goes down, and Dark procures all of the extra other Titans that were destroyed, the enemy Titans, and distributes them out among the other generals. But things move back from there to Kuruma and the castle, and we find that that is the Emperor, right? Yeah, the Emperor is more or less getting a rundown of what's happening on the battlefield, and he learns about the entire their not reconnaissance team, but one of their teams being decimated. And he also learns about a few other things, but most importantly, he gets the information finally that I don't know if it is the Three Kingdoms or if it's that secret group. I'm pretty sure it's that secret group that did this, that has nothing to do, that we don't know whose team they're on in the war, but he did learn that they summoned the meteors. And
detect the meteors, and apparently it's going to take a month out before they hit. Like,
yes.
That's how that works.
Yes.
And
well, they know they've cast the spell.
I know that's like, okay, so the way the spell works, I'm going to tell you this. If this spell actually existed, it would be one of the most inconvenient spells ever to cast.
What? It's like black materia from Final Fantasy. It doesn't happen right away. You get some time. Everyone knows that. You can't just summon an earth-ending spell and it happens instantly. No, everyone gets enough time to worry and possibly find a way to stop it. Come on. We've grown up with this story. You should know better.
It's so inconvenient, and then even when it hits, it makes it even more inconvenient. Because it's not because like it destroys things. No, it destroys things so well that literally the land that it hits is so useless.
But it's perfect for the logic though, because think about it from the standpoint of most stories and how they use like these really powerful spells. Take a look at freaking we were just talking about with Sorcerer King, how much devastation the abilities that he uses with those weapons, and it's just like, nah, it's fine. People can live on that on that surface I just basically glassed next week. It's totally okay. It's all cool. No, like this move would be it's straight up like science. If a meteor were to hit an area, it would cause so much devastation you wouldn't go back there for a while. And it wouldn't even be surprised me that like when they said like nothing can grow, I'm like, oh yeah, there's massive radiation that comes off from that too. So everything in the area cannot grow. So I'm like,
I understand that, but the problem with this is it's one of those things where you're like, oh, so this is the reason why we never cast this, because it is completely useless to do so. Well, and the cost of it is so ridiculously high that they're like, yeah, the only people who can do this are elves, because they're the only ones who live
long enough to learn that, yeah.
Cast it. And I was like, I would say this. I would try to capture elves whenever you want it, because you need that threat. Like I'm surprised that everyone doesn't just own that threat. Like,
well,
no,
it's the idea of even finding an elf that that you find an elf that reaches that level to be able to do it, and then B, if it has to be, if it's only one of them or if it has to be many of them, they have to be willing to do it. So the complexity to cast a spell enough already seemed crazy. So, and just the after effect of it was like, this is not worth it at the long run, especially if you're all about conquest. Because with this, it completely wipes out everything that you would try to acquire. So, the entire war that you just had would be completely pointless, So, the fact is that they have an enemy that's like, no, we don't want to capture your kingdom. We just want you gone. We don't care if, we don't get any resources from this. And that's where I'm like, okay, so this is a group that's third party to our Dark and his squad and their kingdoms, but is somehow still invested in the war with Kuruma going down.
Yes.
So, and that's where I'm just like, okay, so who's willing enough to go this crazy to do that in the long run? And then, not to mention, like you said, it is also inconvenient the fact that they can detect it and it takes them a month. And the only thing is right now, what they've determined is that they can protect the main cities, but all the surrounding areas will be destroyed.
Nuke, right? And it took a month before it hit. And then I'm like, yes, the game, I'm gonna win. And they'd be like, all right, so we have a month before it hits. Yes. All right, we got plenty. I'm like, what kind of threat would that be?
Everyone just move to the side and it'll be okay. I don't know. I mean, it's more than enough to seemingly get their attention for it, and the fact that they're willing to just decimate. The attack itself seems kind of petty because, like, if they know everyone can just leave and go to the area, but if they box them in or like, well, you can't leave your country easily, then, prepare for the force. It's coming. So.
Get out of the way. There's a fucking meteor on the
well, the one other thing though is that this really doesn't matter, at least for the main cities, like I said, because they'll be protected because they were built by their greatest magician at the time, who also is higher than a 7th level mage, and that was the dragon. So at Long Point they wouldn't have feared that really. So my question now is do they have a spy? Does that group have a spy on the inside that knew that he was missing to even launch the spell? Because if you went through all that trouble and then it was just like, yeah, all right, negated, it's like, okay, well, that was a huge waste of resources. So, I mean, it seems so perfect and opportune that they did this right when they were at their weakest moment, and knowing that they have no higher class mages to be able to even counter it. So, yeah. I think beyond that, they're trying to remember. I don't think there was too much more besides those two things. The one prince did get his teeth kicked in again, though. So I'm kind of wondering when he's going to secretly attack his dad. But here or there. So in our coming chapters, do we see them going to Dark and asking for assistance about this? Because they probably know, well, I mean, they got wind that he talked to a dragon on the battlefield, and everybody in his group knows that his father is a dragon. So
I don't know, who knows? It may just end up being like shit's gonna happen anyways, and then Dark has to go back to defend his castle.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this battle doesn't seem like much of a fight for really any of them.
Like, oh, a meteor. Let me show you how to defend against it.
All you gotta do is tank that shit, you know? You just take it to the face, and then you walk it off.
You activate tank stance, and then you hop in, and then everyone together has to get in the same circle. All right.
You got to find that one dot, that one squeaky dot that everyone's got to fit on, in order to completely negate the move. That's all you got to do. Yeah. Oh, but anything on those two chapters though we got from Mookhyang?
No, that's basically it.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Oh, as a side note, if you have been reading The Origin, it is finished. So
it's
you get to
done.
read. It's like 47 chapters
Okay.
of his life prior to Dark Lady. So there you go.
Yes, you can read that. And for all those people who are somehow still upset about him being a lady, you can read that and it will fill whatever void.
For some reason, there were still people who read the entire thing not knowing it was a prequel to Dark Lady.
Really?
And then, yes, and then at the end, I don't know if they were trolls or anything, but like, oh man, I hope this doesn't turn out to be like Dark Lady.
Oh, okay. So maybe they are. It's probably trolls. I'm gonna go with this trolls. It's probably trolls.
Trolls? Man.
It's probably trolls. It's
And
probably.
then there would be people who are like, "Oh man, you're gonna be really upset when it is," and then we're like, "I think you're just feeding trolls. Why are you doing this?"
Because they're so hungry. They're so very hungry. But all right then, we'll go ahead. We'll move on to our next one here. Down with one that we didn't have from last week with a chapter, but only one came out this time. Inso's Law. Only one quick chapter that popped up. More or less just a continuation from what happened the last time. I don't know what we call is it the Courage game? Is that what they call those?
Yeah, the Courage game.
The Courage game or Courage trial has ended, and Danai is back home resting after it, and she's more or less spends the chapter just recollecting her thoughts about what kind of occurred, because we kind of get like a nice little rundown that maybe not all the events that at least happened for her exactly happened the way that everyone else was occurring, because she had a homeboy with her supposedly, but he doesn't seem to react in the same way she does. The fact that, the weird creature, the Slender Man creature that apparently they came across.
Yes.
The electricity working in the classrooms, even though the school is supposed to have been abandoned. And the fact that she wound up back in this was, I think this was, well, it was another classroom, but it seemed like it was back in like high school or elementary school, and she was meeting up with our other king.
Yes.
And that seemed more like it might have been a dream state than it might have actually been occurring. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. So, God bless you, or hail Satan, whichever you prefer. Yeah. So from just gathering on those little bits of things, she sits down and she kind of like starts to recollect and is wondering if any of these are seemingly like spots or triggers for, what would normally be in a novel story like this, because those are very offbeat from what you would get from these kinds of like light novels or like love story novels things.
Yeah.
So, but she does make the comment that she's not going to go back into school because she doesn't want to run into Slender Man again.
I mean, I would not either. I feel like we're not going back there, right? Yeah,
Did you find ghosts? Yes. Are you going to go back and check? Hell no.
Even if it ended up being a lie, I'm going to tell you this: I am not going back there. All right. It's like if you went out at night and you found a place and there was just a kid hanging out like at midnight in the background there. I'm like, I'm never going back there. Even if you told me later on that was just a kid running out at night, that scared me. All right. I don't know why that kid is there. That kid has no reason to be there. I am never going to be back there. Like if it just ends up being like, oh yeah, that was just some guy in the dark and it wasn't really like Slender Man, I'd be like, yeah, what the fuck was he doing there? I am never going back there.
You're just not dealing with that today.
No, that's just nonsense. I am never going back there. Okay.
Well, Danai seems to be taking the same course of action for that.
Well, don't you want to know the truth? I don't care. Okay. I am not willing to I am not willing to die horrifically here. All right, all the off chances that like it's. I'm not.
This secretly isn't one of those novels, but it ends up being a horror novel.
Oh.
Where there is no happy ending.
Yeah, that's right.
every end is a bad end. Prepare. Secretly, her story is being written by Junji Ito. She doesn't realize she's in Uzumaki too.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that would be awful. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there wasn't too much else beyond that with this chapter. It really just moved the story forward a tiny bit, just to show us more or less what Dana is kind of recollecting from everything. She does have like a weird dream sequence where she is being punished by seemingly a like an emperor or a shogun, and it happens to be Euro Yang punishing her, and it's because she looked at his daughter, and it's the one guy dressed up as the lady. I don't know what weird punishment game she's playing in her head, but yeah. Beyond that, though, is there anything else that I missed in that one chapter, though?
I don't think so.
Anything that you wanted to bring up, though, or anything you noticed? No? No. All right, then. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll move on to our next one. Here, we got 2 chapters coming out, especially with the last one with solo leveling. I did not get a chance to reach out to our homeboys over at the Hunters Association to see what they said. But what did you think on these 2 chapters, Ark?
It's a lot of exposition.
Just a lot of exposition. But I kind of feeling after...
It's necessary exposition.
Yeah. After the action and end of that 158, I was kind of expecting that it was going to be nothing but exposition here. And yeah, so... 150... Oh, sorry.
I expected all of this exposition.
You didn't expect all of it? You didn't expect 2 chapters worth?
No. I wasn't expecting exposition that actually explained everything that was going on.
Oh, okay.
I expected like half of this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is what like what's going on. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I get what's kind of going on now, but like I'm still have questions. There's a lot of like, just like. Questions get thrown out the window. It's like, let me just explain to you exactly the history of everything and how we got here.
I mean,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, there's just no question about like anything else.
I'm leaving literally no hanging threads at all.
Yeah.
You're wondering why the Giant King was chained up? Explained right here. You're wondering where. You're wondering why the angels are fighting the monsters? Here you go. You're wondering where the Shadow Monarch is different and why they all hate him? Here's that reason. All of the explanation, the system, the admin, and the deal, and all of that is just all basically laid out on the table for you. So you have almost no questions beyond maybe like, where's Dad at? And he showed up, so like there is no like left hanging chads here of like what could possibly be going on in the background. Yeah, so I think I don't know if this is signaling that we're getting close to an end, if that's what that's supposed to mean. Because well, I mean, beyond this, who's the remaining enemies after learning the history now? Because we know the reason why the monsters, or at least we know why the reason the demons and the monsters were created, or why they exist, and we know their purpose for wanting to start a war here. So the only remaining targets now is, and we now know that there's no God either. God is dead. God got killed way before this even started, apparently. So all that's left is just fight the angels, right?
I guess.
So
no, it's not fight the angels or anything. It's like it's fighting the angels and fighting against the monarchs.
I mean, the monarchs are mostly gone here. There aren't too many, and the fact of the matter is, like, once he gained his power, the beast monarch just dipped. He just was like, "Fuck this! I'm not even handling this anymore." So
yeah, but that's only like what, like 5 monarchs out of what 13 or something like that, right?
Well, the Dragon King is dead. The giant.
That's the Dragon King, as in we know it. We don't know because I think they like hinted at like maybe there was like successor or something. Like things can still happen. Like
things can still occur, but we know that at least he's gone. The Giant King is gone currently. We've also with him being the Shadow Monarch, the Insect Queen got taken down. The Beast Monarch literally just said, "I'm not dealing with this." So I mean, the only one standing up right now is the Monarch of Frost, and he's about to get just handled. So I don't know if any of the other monarchs even care enough to want to challenge him. Really, when he's at full power, even more so. So, you know. And granted, none of the others have made any other appearance beyond the time they jumped the other American national level hero or hunter. I think we saw there was one other one that we didn't see in the lineup that we have currently here, right? 1 or 2.
I don't think it makes a difference whether or not they want to. I think they have to, because the way it's explained is Earth is just like a proxy war.
Well, Earth is just, or Earth just needs to be, it's just where all the energy just gets dropped or dumped down to so that they can actually have a battlefield.
And that this isn't the first time they've done this, because they've gone through this multiple, apparently they've like...
Well, I don't know if they've done it on this planet multiple times. I feel like they've done it through different planes.
I think they've done it onto this planet multiple times, because the way they explain it is like, yeah, when humans lose, we've just been cheating and we like wind back time, so and the humans get another chance, and then we wind back time, and then but we can only do this so many X times, and I think this is the last time, and I'm like,
because we didn't know how many times there were, but we're just guessing, really. So I mean, still beyond that, it's like, outside of beating the monarchs, who are his final enemies to beat? I mean, there is no god. It's just kill the other fragments of light. That's it. And granted, they don't want to fight anyway, since that was the whole purpose of them turning on God in the first place. They were just like, why are we doing this for? And it's like, oh, God's bored and just, he wanted to make a living chess set. He got this comic called X-Men and was really impressed by this character, Charles Xavier. It's like, I can do that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, what exactly beyond that it could be. Because, I mean, if he kills all of the monarchs and, like, truly kills them so that they can't reincarnate or come back in any other form, I mean, the angels don't seemingly care. There's, like, no exhaustive purpose that they need to fight anyway. It's not like, oh, there's like some weird energy imbalance and they have to have this in order to keep existing.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, that's there's
a lot of exposition as to like what happened beforehand, but there's nothing that hints as to like what the progress or
what the end game or what the goal really is. I mean, for our MC, the goal is all of you get the fuck off my planet. That's pretty much his goal. Go home. I don't want you here. But yeah, between the monarchs and the angels, it's like, what's your reason for even continuing to do this anymore? But yeah, I do want to talk to our other friends there at the Hunters Guild and see what they said for these 2 chapters, because I feel like even with getting a bunch of explanations, like, okay, so I got
Seraph read ahead, so
yeah, I guess we could. He is further ahead. I guess I could ask him, like, how close are we to an end? Do we see more? I haven't heard anything about like an actual end to the novel yet, so that pretty much would tell me that there is still some other things to go down. But yeah, anything else though on those 2 chapters that you wanted to bring up?
No.
No. All right. Well, I'll move on here to our latest one with beginning after the N. You want to take this one?
We have it where the class goes into the dungeon, but then shit goes down, and like they're like, oh wait, there are these monsters here, but it's not just a few of them. It is like a whole horde of them. So they're like, all right, we have to fight them and try to escape now. And then a queen or like an evolved version of the monster shows up, and then they're like, shit, this thing isn't supposed to be here. It's supposed to be at the bottom of the dungeon, not at the very top. And as they're trying to fight it, then our main character here is like, well, I have to use the third of my like the
of my strength.
Yeah, another level, when he could have just like, why don't you just unlock all of them? I don't understand why you're like, at this point, be like, all right, I got to just use only one more of my elements, not all four of my elements. Would I be like, why did you just not go all in? If the whole point of this was to be like, okay, I have to save the teacher. He saves her, but then he goes down with the monster that attacks them because like the dungeon like starts falling apart.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at.
That's where it ends. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very season 1 or a beginning chapter story all over here again. And I noticed a few people pointing that out, that we're almost rehashing a story right from the beginning, with him getting hurt, rolling down a no hole into possibly just pure danger and having to survive. And yeah, I don't understand why he did. It seemed like he did at the end there. He was like, well, I'm gonna unleash all of my power now, but it was just for fire. And I'm like,
yeah, I didn't understand that. I was like, you should be using all of it. You
like,
should also oh shit, maybe I should also risk a transformation. I could stop time.
That's the one thing I'm like, you have a time stopping ability. Why not that? I don't understand the purpose of, I need to hold back because I don't want everyone to know how truly strong I am. And granted, it seemed like I'm just waiting for everyone to get out of, just eye level. I don't care if the professor knows, but he still didn't fully unlock all of his power. And also, he gets a message from Sylv that, she's wondering what's going on. And he tells her, and then he's like, no, you stay back just in case. And I'm like, this seems like a pretty decent situation where you should probably be using all possible advantages. So I don't know.
Also, that fails anyway. Like him trying to hide stuff fails anyways because Lucas looks right at him.
Right at him.
He's like, bitch, you've been hiding from me the entire time. And he goes, I'm not going to deal with this right now. You just go away.
Go die. I mean.
Also, I already know what's going to happen. All right. So I'm going to tell you this. We're getting real close to the part when you're like, man, as if I didn't hate Lucas enough before. All right.
It's coming.
It is coming.
Is he gonna do something extra hateful? Let me guess. Let me just ask. Does it involve Tess? Okay. So that's all I needed to know. All right. I'll let Seraph handle the rest of that because that seems like all his territory. Oh, all right. Yeah. This I don't even know. I don't even think that they will be giving. You could probably tell me more on that if they'll even give an explanation at this point because you're confused why he would just hold back during this critical situation.
Even when reading this part, it never made that much sense at all, and I'd be
like, I would have been fine if they would have said he even minimally says I couldn't unlock all of it because he used an ability that dislocated his shoulder, so he threw
No, but he was with that ability though was using 3 out of 4 powers, right?
No. The first time he did it, that was just using the wind power. He dislocated one shoulder. Then he did it again with the other shoulder, using 4 abilities. So I was like, okay, I would understand if he's like, yeah, I couldn't unlock everything because I literally just basically overextended my body's ability to handle this and just massively tanked myself, which would be no different than when he did unleash his dragon ability before, you know, and in the massive recoil he got back from that. And I'm like, okay, I would understand it if they're like, yeah, I can now do it twice, but if I, you know, throw all my body into it, yeah, then I'm gonna be tapped out no matter how much, you know, knowledge and mana I have. But I'm gonna guess that he never really brings that up at all in an explanation to say that, correct?
Not really.
Okay. So it's just, I didn't want to use my powers because I need to keep my identity as possibly close to the chest so I can still kill Lucas when the time comes.
I mean, he all he has to do is just do a fucking you know,
a class exercise and accidentally kill him.
Just do the meme of what's his name?
I'm not sure.
The Vince McMahon meme where he's like, "It was me, Lucas. It was me all along." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But you know,
what? Just explain.
If he just explained it, he's like, "Oh no, bitch, you messed with the wrong person the entire time," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But then like we get over it, but like, I'll be honest, even when reading this part, like, when you get to a certain point, like so far, it made no sense for him to like just continue covering up like who he was.
Well, yeah, we talked about that like a couple of weeks ago. That, you know, like, why are you even hiding your other abilities now? You've pretty much like
you already like showed everyone that you're a target. Like everyone knows that you're like, oh, we should watch out for this guy no matter what. Okay, cool. Why don't you just be like, yeah, let me just make sure like there's no inconveniences whatsoever. No, he just it's fine. I don't know.
I mean,
he's slightly smarter than everyone else, but that's only like slight competence level. Everyone in the world is still somehow really stupid too at times.
I mean, even then, but it seems like his overconfidence also makes him incredibly stupid at times. Like, that entire thing did not need to go down the way that it did with the amount of power he actually has at his disposal.
No.
Like, it should not have gone out that way. It should have been like, okay, he uses the ability, it works, everything's fine, and then another new monster appears, because that's what's been happening this entire time. It's just been progressively getting more stronger monsters that should not be on this level. So that would have been the only thing I'm like, that's fine, then that works, because he exhausted every possible option. But here it's like, no, he's got all of this still at his disposal, and he just decided to hold it because gotta keep my secret identity secret, even though a group of people already know.
It's that scene from Man of Steel when Superman watches his dad die. And then
don't do that. Don't do that.
Right now.
Everyone will know and think it's weird. They can't see. Don't do that.
If he did, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. You are a god among men, and you're like, I went to go save my dad, alright? Fuck y'all, alright? I don't give a damn, alright? And I'd be like, yes, you can go see your dad right now. Just go save him, alright? And there's the same thing here, like, you know, if you hadn't been like just fooling around and be like, alright, this is definitely like hijinks where it looks like the other teacher is going to die. I should probably like go full on right now, like just take this problem down.
Yeah, it was a dire enough situation that it should have been, you know, all right, gotta unleash everything, gotta go full Phoenix mode right now, and nope. So, yeah. So the chapter ends with him, of course, falling into a hole deeper into the dungeon, which I'm gonna guess is even a lower level than, you know, this creature came from. So, if anything, I'm guessing he's gonna run into what's her name from one of the lances who's on scouting mission down there.
Maybe
is my guess is he's gonna run into her. She'll help repair him to some level, and it'll be a giant quest of him finding out more about what's going on in the lower levels that Good Sky decided not to tell him about, and then he'll get super pissed when he finds out and goes back to her.
I feel like, Good Sky, you could have told people that there was shit going on, and we could have been like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go in the dungeons, and we wouldn't be in this fucking problem right now.
I feel like this is setting up just to give somebody a reason to yell at another person. We're just creating our own arguments here. That's all it is. That's all it really is. All right. Yeah.
It's saying that Good Sky doesn't say anything. Okay, cool. You're telling me that these swords that are meant to like protect people are like, all right, let's just not tell people not to go here while we're investigating this really dangerous thing. Yeah, sir, but what happens if someone comes in? Nah, it's fine. It won't happen. How do you know this? You know they're gonna come in here without us telling them not to go in, right? It's like if there was like a hostage situation going on, and then the cops like, nah, just don't let people know that there's a hostage situation going on.
And they just walk in.
Walk in and be more hostages, and then be like, what? Why would you do this? Are you stupid?
We're definitely not quite logically thinking here. That's all it really comes down to. All right. Anything else though on those two chapters?
Is it like up until this point? This is like a like when you question things like in the world, be like, all right, so when was the actual first murder? So then people looked at it like, man, morally that's wrong. So is this like a first time for everything here? Is this what this is? Where everyone's like, oh man, this has never ever happened before. Like, so I have no idea how situation in all of history. This is the first time this has ever happened. Then I guess that's how you can explain how everyone is incompetent. All right. But that's the only way you can do that.
I feel like they're going to give us a cliff note like, this has never occurred before. And that'll be the whole reason. You know, you're just feeding them all the fixes they need, or all the workarounds. That's all you're doing. You going to start charging for those ideas?
Oh, I wish.
All right. Let's go ahead. We'll move on here into our next one with our favorite game designer in Let's Play. We got 133, 134 here after the very intense night with our Sir Charles. I'm trying to remember 133 we got more story though with Marshall and him still dealing with his internal and past issues that he's got going on. And we also got some more story for, what I thought was something a little more serious, but ended up being silly as it should have been with, it's Leo's brother, right? His little brother, his younger brother. Yeah. He was stealing a bunch of toilet paper, and I thought it would have been something a little bit more dumb, but
no. Okay, so when we find out the reason for the toilet paper being stolen, all right, I thought he was actually doing something with the toilet paper for like if for some odd reason sell it as a crackhead or something. Give me something
ridiculously off that
you would need to steal a lot of toilet paper for. No, he stole it. Just be like, I was trying to play and I needed material, and I was like, what? What? Out of all things, you needed this. Oh my! What?
I mean,
I know the life of of a cosplay artist. All right, I get it. Okay, but could anyone else be like, yeah, it's totally reasonable to steal like just dozens upon dozens of toilet paper rolls just to make cosplay? And I was like, that seems weirdly wrong here. Like, that seems like out of all things,
it seems like something a child would do.
Yes,
it's almost like it fits. Like the most innocuously weird little crime.
You had so much toilet paper though.
Apparently it was a very elaborate costume. Sorry, cosplay. Yeah, so that story is nice and finished off, but yeah, it ends with more or less him getting a job or doing some would say community service at the shop. So we'll see. We'll see what that brings to fruition for him. But things move back over with Samara and Marshall, with Samara just sitting and watching his latest show, Marshall looking off into the distance outside, and Samara watching him before he notices her, and they have a little conversation. Once again, though, through the whole thing, I still enjoy Samara's innocence to just everything. I forget, do they actually give Samara's age?
She's in her 20s.
Okay.
Right?
Just forgiving her for her age, she just acts incredibly innocent about everything. And granted, I know that she was basically in the hospital for a fair amount of her younger years, with a rather, just heart disease to deal with. But, when even Marshall notices it and he's like, hey, I gotta leave. And then she realizes her shirt's open a little bit. And the amount of just embarrassment for her is just, everything for her is just always simple and sweet when she reacts to something. Even the most small thing for her is... yeah, sure. But the important bit here is the fact that she's like, I'm horny. And then when she's literally even though she's focused on Charles, Marshall shows up and then her instincts clearly turn.
Yeah,
to the next hot person.
That thing right there, that piece of candy right there. And then I was like,
but does she know it? That's the thing. Does she know it?
I thought I was like she seems so much more man, I want to be serious with Charles because and then instantly I was like, wait, there's this thing right next door. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, and it's also single now. So
she doesn't. Does she?
Not 100%. I don't think she. I think that's happened all behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think that happened behind closed doors, and that happened while she was with Charles anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
But still. I mean, how long will it take for her to not notice?
Yeah, when she finds out, and she's like, "Oh, so it's free real estate."
It's all open game here. That's all it is, and that's all good.
And then I feel with the way Charles would be like, oh, so you want to get together with Marshall? And then Charles would be like, you know what? I fuck anyways.
But he's fine with it because Charles does not want relationships.
Yeah, he doesn't want a relationship. So he's like, you know what? If you want to do this, so you can expressively grow and be more confident, he'd be like,
do it.
I think he'd be 100% down. He'd be like, yeah, go ahead. What? Yeah, go.
No,
go,
I want you to do it. Yeah, do that. Get that thing.
You do that. Don't you want me to be exclusive to you? No, I
Nope.
want you to be comfortable with yourself. Go figure yourself out first.
Yeah, I'm not here to. I'm not here to chain you down, hamper you, or claim you in any way. You are free to do whatever you want with whoever you want, in all lights. Now, I don't know if Marshall's ex will be so coming to that, but yeah.
I walked away for 5 minutes.
That's how it goes. Still got the smell on him. It's mine. Yeah. Well, we'll see if she even makes an appearance in some of the later chapters here. I'm sure she will, as Marshall tries to tackle this. He is at least making some headway with other friends in Samara's group. Meeting up with I don't remember her name, the yoga girl. I don't remember her name though, but yeah, meeting up with her, and going through some therapy to try and help himself out. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack about Marshall's past as himself, so we'll see if he can get that all worked out, as well as if Samara can. I'm sure that it's going to come to a point where Samara's gonna have to make some kind of decision between the two, because that seems where it's kind of heading there for that.
No.
And who knows? No. Charles may even change his mind about about being exclusive.
Reverse harem. Okay.
Reverse harem. Okay. She just gets all of them. Well, she doesn't have Link. She doesn't have Link anymore. That is no longer a path.
That's not true.
No, they closed that off when both of them agreed that they just wanted to be friends.
Yeah, but
I mean, they could still be friends with benefits, but Link doesn't seem like that might be his MO. At least, yeah, we'll see. I would say that pathway seems like it's finished.
If this story ends up being like a healthy polyamorous like representation, I'd be fine with it.
Okay,
right?
I mean, if it goes that way, yeah. If it goes fully out that way, I would have no problem with that. So we'd have to see, though. I'd say that Charles would probably be more on board with that choice, though, more than anything. But is there anything though else in those two chapters that you wanted to bring up? Anything you wanted to talk about? All right. Well, I know everyone's been waiting for it. I know I have been. Wanted to get to this stories for the God of High School. We did also get onto a hiatus for them, at least for 2 weeks. But we're 527, 528. Still in the epic battle of the gods as it throws down here. Mori is pretty much at the point where he's ready to take on Mubon Park. All of his guards are pretty much done. We have him facing now his previous teacher, and Ryung comes back to help. But this last chapter, but these last couple chapters were more than anything some exposition dump. And we did get a comment back about our previous one where we were questioning the story that's been popping up with Mori, just with the Monkey King story, and Mori eating the monk. Now,
yeah, we get an answer, but not a very clean answer. That's like makes it way more confusing than
that's the thing. Is with the comment we got just someone saying we got him saying that there's been multiple panels showing us that Mori's eating the monk. Mori himself is not disagreeing to this, but the problem is that all of these are flashbacks of someone else telling us that he's eating the monk, and then Mori himself is just not disagreeing to it. He is agreeing to it. That's what occurred. But this last chapter once again confused both of us for the simple fact of what Mori says when he's talking to Ryung. And that is that
we were betrayed.
We were betrayed by the Buddha when we went to go fight them. He kills all of his comrades, and then in a one-on-one fight, he loses to Buddha, and Buddha eats the monk alive.
Yes.
And then Mori...
And then he also somehow implies that, like, all those scenes that we see Mori eating the Buddha was all just part of, like, the world illusion that Tahataka was what he made or something like that. And I was like, wait, so that was an illusion? Like, it never happened?
Well, that's the thing. There's no actual, like, say that was an illusion. That's the thing that we're missing. It doesn't say that Buddha tricked him or tricked everybody else into believing that. He just states that he ate him alive, but then he makes the comment that, oh yeah, I know you heard this story about if you eat the Buddha, you get stronger. Well, that's true. And I'm like, okay, but if that's true, in the story that we've been told, you're the one that ate the Buddha, got strong, or you're the one that ate the monk, got strong, and then beat up Buddha. But in this version, you're saying that Buddha ate the monk, got strong, but you still beat up Buddha.
Yeah, I
see. That's where the things aren't connecting. That's where I'm like, okay, so is one side like is there actually an illusion, and he's like saying it like that, maybe both of them got eaten and he ate the monk inside of Buddha and then killed Buddha?
I have no idea.
Because we know that he got strong enough to take on not just Buddha, but the rest of the gods.
Also, it's very unclean. It's very unclean as to like how they were like, oh yeah, the Monkey King is now Mori Jin as a human baby, just randomly. Like, I don't understand the promise that like apparently Subahati made a deal with the Jade Emperor or something, like, right? Or am I wrong? I don't understand that bit because there's so much that's going on, and then it's like Subahati is like, oh yeah, I work for Tahatagati now, cool, but at the same time, like, then he's like, did you betray him or something? Oh no, there's a clone now. Clone, go take care of this baby Monkey King now. How did you regress him back into a baby? I'm so confused. Does no one explain this part?
It's just literally space magic. Just go with it. I mean, you're asking why this full-grown person was suddenly reverted back to a baby. You do remember that full-grown person was born from a stone that just formed out of nothing.
Yes.
So that I just clearly see as analogies of just the old history being trying to told in this version more than anything. So that really doesn't bother me. Just Morijin regressed back because he forcefully regressed him back so that, you know, he would have to retry all over again from, you know, the same standpoint. Except at this time, Mori didn't grow up instantly with the notion of I'm strong, therefore everyone that is strong needs to fight me, and I don't need anybody else to do it.
Oh, and then he reconciles with Ryong, where like I was like, you know, I feel like if you just told him this stuff before the fighting happened, you would have been like, we still would have gotten to this point. I'm just saying, right? Like, why did we have to have it where like there was this huge epic fight with Ryong completely misunderstanding and like purposely like, no, I don't care about the misunderstanding anymore. I just want to fight you. Like, oh, okay. But then at the end he's still like, oh, I forgive you. Yeah, we're bros. And I was like, no, what was the purpose of all this? Like, there was
because
no
I wanted to draw a cool fight. Don't stop me from being able to draw a cool fight. And that's what's important. Yeah, I mean, we already have a lot of issues with the fact of getting these characters who are clearly extremely important to his story, but only showing up now to have their grievances even explained and then resolved at this juncture. So, I mean, anything really that we're getting here is minimal at best of any kind of attachment, you know? And if anything, it was just the whole thing between these two stories was just to show that Mori of the past is not the Mori we have now. That's all it was. But granted, we have over 500 chapters of us showing us that Mori of the past is not like Mori of before anyway. So this is just putting an end stamp on that to like Mori's willing to like face the past, his past self, who really he doesn't know much of anything about, since he doesn't seem to really acknowledge too much of it half the time. But he's willing to accept that happened and that he is sorry for it for his part. So now we have a more mature Mori. Or I don't know if he's still going by that moniker or his new one now.
I don't know.
Because he is transforming back and forth between the two.
It is not the cleanest that oh my gosh. Also, like I've ever made this complaint already to like between us, but so just so everyone understands, does anyone else understand that it took forever? When I say forever, I mean like it was so fucking slow with no information being told about any of this, and then suddenly we had 2 chapters worth of just nothing but exposition All right, and this is just all exposition. That stuff. That's like, all right. I am just now telling you why these characters have grievances. All right, I'm now explaining to you so you don't really understand that Mori or the Monkey King didn't maybe eat the Buddha still. All right, I'm not going to make it very clear. I'm just going to kind of show it and then make it clear that it did. This action did happen, but maybe it was in Mori's head because it's the karmic cycle of the Gata, or like, I am confused. All right, there's a lot of things that happens in these 2 chapters just crammed all together, and then not even crammed together very nicely too, because then there's like the last act of the latest chapter where it has it where Mori and also Daiwi and Mira are like, oh yeah, we're friends again, guys. Now the power of friendship will defeat Mookhyang Park. And I was like, and then the thing is, while this is happening, Mookhyang Park allows it to happen. Mookhyang Park sees it, and he's like, oh, cool. Did you guys reconcile and like get the power of friendship to fight me now? And I was like, you let that happen? You let them have like 20 minutes worth of just like, guys, let's. I was like, I thought you were like on a rush to kill them because you need this plan to work out. But Mookhyang Park is still just allowing people to have time, and I was like, I still don't understand this. Why are you giving them time?
Yeah, we've already gone into length about
Mookhyang Park. It wasn't just like time to be like, oh yeah, cool. Like we got together to fight you. No, he gave them time to make jokes about Mira and also Daiwi getting married. Okay, you let them have time to make jokes. I don't understand. There's no like, see, and I don't understand why.
You know how God, what is it? You know the villain's code and how they have to wait for the hero and monologue when they need to. Come on.
Urgency, okay? Even the humans have no sense of urgency. They're like, oh yeah, we know we're fighting against Mookhyang Park now, but we gotta make some wisecracks first, all right?
It's always time for a joke. There's never not a good time to throw a good joke in there, even in the middle of death. Gotta get one more out.
It's in the middle of death. It's in the middle of everyone else dying, and like no one just like a kid should just walk up to like, guys, we're dying, please. And they're like, oh, that's right, we're in the middle of something. We'll get back to this. We can talk about you two getting married after the fight, right? Yeah, that would make way more sense than like right beforehand, right? Yes.
This is they're clearly at a save point right now, so they have all the time in the world. That's totally fine. Once they get out of the save start area, then Mookhyang Park is allowed to unleash his attacks.
I feel like they have to talk about it because like they're gonna die. Okay, like right, like that's the only reason why there's a point to like telling, Mori Jin that they got married, right, and then they all reconciled because
this is the end.
This is the end. And
this is the ultimate showdown.
They need to set the death flag so like when Daiwi and also Mira dies, then like Mori Jin is like, oh, through the power of friendship and through their spits, and they're like, hey, you know how like we've been you know how we've been setting up the whole borrowing god powers thing. Guess who we're gods now? Mira and also Daiwi. I borrow their powers. Is that where we're going with? Is this where we're going with? Because I feel like there's no reason to set up these two like their deaths immediately because they can talk about their marriage afterwards. This is the same exact reason like beforehand where it made no sense where like the world was dying and they were like, hey, we're gonna go get married right now while everyone is dying in the world.
While everyone in the world is being crushed into darkness.
I feel like there is a lack of priorities, people. I don't understand.
I feel more or less like it's not a lack of priority as much as it's the story chapters are in the wrong space. That's all. They're just happening at the wrong time. Yeah. So we've got basically the team ready for the showdown now, which I don't know how much of it will be just still images with, more explanation or them dialoguing to each other during the fight. I don't know.
Monologuing.
It's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen. But either way, 528 came out, and at the end of it, the author basically stated that he needs a reprieve for a little bit so that he can recollect himself.
It is because I really didn't plan out the ending, so I have to like piece it together because I've been bullshitting incorrectly the entire time.
He didn't.
That's literally what I read as I saw that. I was like, oh, so you have no idea how you want to do this? Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember. He's doing it the Chris Claremont way. That's all it is. We'll find the ending in all of the mess, but unfortunately the mess is too great. Yeah. So right now it's on a temporary hiatus. I believe. What was it? 2 weeks.
I don't know. Who knows?
Okay. So I don't know if they gave a date. I don't know if he gave an actual amount of time. But regardless, we'll still be here for the end because I want to see how this plays out. Reading this for so long, I can't not see where this all just falls down at the very final, where it decides to stick the flag in the ground. But yeah, either way, we'll still be here. We'll still want all the comments that come from this, even all the ones that say that we hate it, whatever, back and forth. We want every comment because I just want to see anyone and everyone's reactions to how all of this is going to play out. But yeah, anything else though on those 2 chapters we have so far? Arc.
No, I think
you think you're calm enough? Okay. All right then. We'll go ahead. We'll move on here into our next one with the greatest of the dads, the Peerless Sect. Yeah, this one actually had some weight to story that happened.
I mean, yeah, this is what you do. What happens when you half-ass things and you do things in half measures? And you're like, well, I interfered, and hopefully the kids won't die. But I was like, these kids are going to die, right? Like, no,
well,
it's fine.
I interfered, but hopefully they'll get the hell out of town. They'll realize how fucked up they really were, and they'll leave as quickly as possible. No. Yeah, those 2 performers do not meet a fortunate end. Well, okay, I shouldn't say both. They do.
No, it's still a bad end for both of them.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess technically it is a bad end for everyone all around. But they do get jumped by the gang again. And this time, little sis does not make it out of the scuffle, as I think she's shoved off of a cliff.
Yeah, she gets tossed.
Yeah, she gets tossed off of a cliff and she dies. Yeah. And Dad happens upon them as Homeboy is just basically being curb stomped into the ground by more than enough individual guys there. And he starts trying to help out, but then he asks where the sister is and sees her. And at that part, the way that they drew this, I wasn't 100% sure, because I'm like, okay, I know he doesn't use blades. He doesn't have blades, but I'm pretty positive he stuck that he stuck that tonfa stick right through that guy's skull.
Oh no, yeah,
like straight up.
Somehow that tonfa stick was a hot knife through butter. Okay.
Yeah. He did not like seeing her dead, and he murdered every one of those guys. Straight up. If Seraph were here, I don't even know if this would qualify. I think this that's far beyond Smoke Demon. Like, he just straight up murdered them all the way to hell. After that whole scuffle goes down, he helps bury the sister and, tries to console the brother, gets some thanks from him. And the brother basically walks off and says, I don't want to live in this world without my sister. I'm going to go to their base and I'm going to fight them. I don't care how many there are. I'm going to take out as many as I can. It doesn't matter. And that's when the dad basically goes, what the fuck are you doing? This is exactly why this happened in the first place, because neither of you thought this through. and you just kind of did something without realizing the repercussion. And he basically smacks some sense into the kid, beats the shit out of him some more, and more or less has the, once again, fatherly tone of, he's like, I shouldn't get involved in this, in other people's problems, but I'm too pissed because a child died. I'm gonna go take care of it. And yeah, he heads off to the base that the men came from. At the same time, we've got back at home, Ak is still making moves and doing deals to get the more or less to pick a side on where the gang is gonna fall for the two all of the competing houses right now. And I believe that he is shacked up with not the Dragon Association. Do you remember which one it is?
I don't know.
I know it's one of the clans. One of them that's at least somewhat connected to like the crime syndicate, right?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. But he's making moves and plans and deals with them so that they can at least survive until Pops get back. But at the same time, trying to make moves to either more or less implicate the crime syndicate as for what's been going down so that they can kind of sneak out the back door, or they're trying to secretly take them out so that they no longer have to worry about any competition or any problems, hitting them head on. Yeah. Dad just killing those dudes. I have not seen him go into full blood mode since his kids were kidnapped.
I mean, these were kids that died too, where he was like,
but
oh,
I mean, still, when he went up on the mountain to go save the kids on the trip, and he had to, basically take care of them, and he had to kill one of those kids, even when he ran into the other, or the demon of the demon of iron, or the iron demon. I mean, even that wasn't, he was still calm and collected about that. That wasn't even as like, all right, I just got to murder, at the end of the day. So yeah. Killing children around him is not a good thing. He will fucking lose it. We did get a little bit of info, at least from, I do not know what group that is, that I would call him just the aristocrat's son, who Pops helped in the beginning chapters. We saw that he was training, and his dad gets a message that everything's in place, and apparently they're going forward with some plan. I don't know if that has to deal with the syndicate, or if that has to deal with what's going down between, I know, the Grand Dragon's house and the One Tiger group, all of them, because I think it's all with a weird battle of succession for who's going to become the new house leads. And his goal, or the aristocrat's goal, is still just to destroy the mirror world, correct?
He doesn't like the way the system is. Yes,
yeah, he's just trying to break. He's just trying to break the entire system. And we know that the Heavenly Dragon sect is more or less chasing him, or they're at least trying to draw him out because they want to kill him too. Because, yeah. So still waiting for more information though on at least what our granddaughter, or the new head of the Heavenly Dragon Association, is up to, because she hasn't made an appearance since, I believe she was responsible for the Dad's friend getting the ginseng, right? Or the life roots?
I think.
Because it was all supposed to be a trap to get her to come out, and I think they tipped him off to where those were so that he would take them.
I think,
because there was one chapter, it was one brief section in a chapter where she talked about that. It's like, it's like that trap is clearly played out so that we can get ambushed. I wouldn't just fall for that so easily.
Who would fall for someone planting really good stuff like that? That's a trap, right? I mean, It is, but that was real good
But
stuff.
it was real good shit. Why would you turn it down? It's so good. I mean, come on. Yeah.
You saw the cops like put weed out there, and you're like, man, that's free weed though. You saw the cops do that. Yeah, but it's free. You're like, no, don't do that. Don't get yourself killed over that.
But they're two street performer kids. Why not?
Yeah, right.
It's exactly how that plays. Oh, all right. Anything else on those two chapters, though? Did we see anything from the kids? I don't think we did.
No.
They're still doing their little thing. I'm still kind of waiting for what happened like 5 or 6 chapters ago with the one kid's dad who went to the leader about his son being killed.
I don't think that's going to resolve until Dad gets back, so it's fine.
Really? Okay. I didn't know if that would either come up there or that dude looked like he was going to do something serious. So I figured that one of the kids was going to be in trouble again. But I guess with now Old Man, the lady, and well, the twins are out, but they've got a ton of people watching them now. So I guess they're pretty safe where they're at. But everyone is in town basically calling their dad a murderer because of that. So rumors have started. So yeah, I'm only hoping in the next chapter we may get back to them and see how that's going down, because I know that they've been pulled into basically a political situation as well because of their dad doing the great things that he is doing so far, but also apparently ruffling a lot of people's feathers that do not want him around, or at least don't want him getting as much glory and praise. So. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a little bit more back on that. We'll see some more chapters pop up from there, but we'll go ahead and move on here to our next one, second to last, but of course certainly one of the goods that have just dropped out for us in Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. Ark, you want to regale us with these chapters? I know we've gotten the turn, or was that a tournament arc? Would we consider a tournament arc is over?
Kind of. I don't know, because the thing is, even though we knew it was supposed to be a tournament arc, the main character doesn't treat it as a tournament arc. He's just like, I already know the answer to this.
It's a tournament arc, but he knows all of the routes.
Yeah. So like it's a tournament arc, but he's just like, nah, I'm just going to bypass it. And then so he bypasses it, he destroys the throne. So now it's a kingless world, where at least this specific area in Korea is, right?
Yes.
So there, and then while because that's happened, then it has it where he then eventually breaks off, right?
Well, he basically broke the game. Like he broke
even
from how the book is, it's completely separated now. So
he basically breaks it because the administrators are like, yeah, this is like if someone destroyed a world item that was necessary for the main story to continue progress, and then there was only one item and it was shared throughout the entire world, and then it was like, well,
what do we do now?
So then that happens, and then our main character here bumps into basically like everyone gets teleported away.
Yeah, they basically go to the Shonen 3-year jump. They all have to go do some shit for a little bit while they figure out the story scenario.
Like, well, since we don't know what we're really going to do anymore, enjoy the next part without actually knowing what the scenario is anymore. So
survive for 2 months. Just go away.
So that everyone gets like sent off into like different directions. Our main character ends up being at like, oh, this is where I used to work. Oh, look, they're my past coworkers. Cool. What are they doing? And they're like, oh, they're all stupid bad people now. God damn it. Why do you all have to be like this? Well, this is how the world is now. we enslave people and have them fight for us like
blood sports. We blood sport.
Like, yeah, a blood sport. And I was like, why would any of you think this was ever a good idea? And the main character's like, no, that's not how you make money. Let me show you how to make money. How do you do that? I kill all of you.
I free everybody and I have let them kill you.
Yeah, and then as that's happening, he realizes that the girl who's the plagiarist shows up, and she was also captured. And he was like, which is weird, because I look at that and I was like, So everyone, it looks like everyone got like teleported away to like an area in which like was
It's important to them, their previous life, yeah.
And then I'm like, why is she there? Are you
I
telling
think
me that she was?
Oh, go ahead.
I was like, was she working in the company too, or like just give me some reason? But like we just gloss over that. She just so happens to be there. He saves her, and then in the end they kind of like work together. But like he's like, all right, well, I know that you're the person who ran up to this part, and you're the only other person who comes close to me. I know what the true ending is, though. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, well, if you want to stick around, that you're my slave, basically.
So many slave packs. Yeah. I thought that the transportation was more like, we're gonna send you back to a place that's important to you, but we're also gonna give you like one hindrance, and that was supposed to be his. Like something that's just gonna work against him, and yet even though he's like, of course with her being captured, even though he basically has the chance to like rid himself of her because she has no weapons, he could easily let her get killed, he chooses not to. And even then, she like admonishes him about like, oh, that's what a protagonist or a hero would do in a story. This is completely like boring and just like the trope of things. And he's just like, no, I didn't do that because of that. I did that because I don't want to deal with this situation alone, and you have the knowledge. And also it just drops her on the ground. He's like, I'm not the hero of this story. I just know everything that's gonna occur. And the fact, like, yeah, when he makes that decision of like, well, do I let her go? If I do, she could become more of a problem. But if I have her around, she's probably always gonna try to undermine or kill me. And then he makes that contract with her, basically they're like, okay, we're a team, we can't do anything that will intentionally put the other person on the team in trouble. So he does form a contract also more or less that constrains him as well, so he can't just get rid of her if he deems so need be.
Yes, I guess, but
at the end of it all, she still comes back and goes, okay, I'll agree to this, but you can't lie to me now.
Now tell me what you know.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Well, yeah.
But this contract, yeah.
I can't.
I obviously, you didn't read the fine print here. That's what that looks
yeah,
like.
I can't lie to you, but I don't have to tell you anything. I'm gonna guess in the next chapter it is gonna be something where it's like, yeah, the contract has this extra fine print that you didn't read or you didn't fully understand that allows me to like loophole through anything you might ask in some way, or I can just make really roundabout answers that are correct but not entirely everything you need to know.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if I feel like that's a rehash of some of the earlier chapters with, of course, him running into a bunch of his ex-coworkers, and like you said, they all like band together. They choose not to be a part of the scenarios, and they do that by basically making a blood sport that keeps the gods interested, or the constellations interested, but not enough that it attracts the Dobekins and forces them into anything that they don't want to have to do. But yeah, that they're all like super jazzed up about, yeah, just kill other people, and this is more of an amusement for us. And I'm like, is this any different from like a few chapters back with Pyong and his safety zone, where he was just like, I'm just gonna keep everybody that's not gonna pay me or be of use out, and you're just gonna be fodder for when the scenario comes.
You're right, but at the same time, it gets cleaned up very fast.
Well, no, so it does get cleaned up way quicker. Like he just. Well, I feel
like it's more like him accepting that they are right that this is how like, the world now is. So like, people are just taking advantage of it. So
and also, I mean, like he said in the story that this does happen at some point, but also it happened quicker because it is a kingless world. There is no leader to force them to work one way or the other.
Yeah, he's kind of fucked.
He kind of fucked it up. Yeah, it's kind of his fault that everything's fallen to this level, because he knew that, you know, being the king while gaining all this power would eventually lead to a dead end anyway. You would die at the end of it. So, you know, it's kind of like he had to do it, but at the same time, is it still like you chose a really shitty path for a ton of other people that we just don't know or haven't met yet because of that? And also we learned that his next objective is to go after this dragon's egg, and all of the dragon items that he put up for sale have all been purchased, even the most expensive ones. So the scenarios that at least were before, because now technically all of the knowledge of his book should be off because he's changed pretty much everything from a certain level of the regression.
I don't know.
So events are either going to start occurring or changing or happening quicker because of the way he's done this. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering how much at least his effects are going to work on at least the knowledge, because it's been a while, because I don't think I've seen him at least 100% use the knowledge anymore to like, oh well, this, you know, I know I'm going to run into this and these people are the ones that are going to be involved. Whereas now it's like, well, I know that there's a dragon's egg, but it shouldn't have come up yet. So someone else might have it that, you know, isn't one of these few individuals.
Something like that?
Something like that. Just an out question from the top of my head. But is there anything that you had that you were at least questioning on for the story-wise there?
No.
No? Everything worked out for you there?
For the most part.
Did you find it like a little odd that he didn't take anybody else as part of the group? Or, I mean, just his reasoning of like, I don't want to deal with a band of individuals. You form your own.
He was like, all right, there is this location. You guys can go there if you want, but
I mean, he basically sends them to. He basically sends them to his own like his home base more than anything.
Yeah, but I mean that's fine because he's just like, you all know that y'all dead weight, right? Man, I don't want to carry that shit.
I don't want you to die, but I don't want to deal with you either. So yeah, I just wanted to be sure, like, if that was like, that seems odd. Like, you figure he'd use maybe he'd find one or two people in the group that might be like, you've got a good enough potential, or like he's like had before, he finds those individuals that are going to become greater characters in the story a little later on, and then just recruits them, as has been his pretty much his entire path up into this point. So my only guess is he already has the greatest characters that are going to be there, and the main character who's still very pissed at him for holding his little sister hostage.
I mean, he didn't really hold her hostage.
I mean,
he
no.
Went to like save her. Like, he sent people to go save her, and then it was like at the same time like, well, it just so happens that like I know where she is,
but I'm not going to tell you because I need this leverage.
You're going to kill me.
I need this leverage shit.
You still don't believe me yet that like I need you alive.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still kind of he's still a scummy, a little bit of a scummy MC. So it's at least enjoying on that level. He's not afraid to basically play a little bit of the villain in a lot of roles.
Hey, whatever works, all right.
Whatever works to get him to the end story without dying, yeah. Because there is no regression for him, unfortunately. But anything on those two chapters though that I missed or you wanted to bring out for there? No. All right.
No. Like, things happened, but like not a lot of stuff happened.
It was more or less just to clean up, you know, hey, this is the new start of where we're at. Here's our new situation, cleanup situation. We'll move on, and here's the new dynamic duo they're going to be handling what's coming next. So yeah, All right, here we'll go ahead and let's move on to our last one of the evening with Skeleton Couldn't Protect the Dungeon. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this last one since yeah.
Oh no, apparently after making a deal with a snake devil, it was a bad idea, guys.
Like when he made a deal with the Raven Devil?
Guys, I made a deal with a snake devil and it didn't turn out well. He turned my waifu into a monster.
Monster waifu.
Well, I committed suicide. Well, at least we know that if things go wrong, he can commit suicide.
I mean, that's always been an option.
No, it's never been an option. We did not know if he was the one who killed himself, would he reset?
Oh, I guess. I mean, he can put himself in harm's way.
Yes, but he's never actually been like, oh, well, I'm done with this run.
I die. All right, move back.
He was like, that's what this is, right? That's like you're like, oh no, I fucked up on this run. Time to die. And you're like, oh, well, at least we know he can do that whenever he wants. So he resets it, he goes back, and he's like, well, I guess I didn't like the snake god, but I guess I'll go talk to that fucking crow again.
Well,
So
I
they,
mean, after learning, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't just instantly join the demon god that's been, like, constantly plaguing me every run I've had so far.
So then, he finds the crow again. He's like, hey,
Yep.
I know all these things about you. And the crow's like, dude, did I do anything to insult you in the past?
He's like, I'm pissed at you.
What did I do to offend you? How do you know how I look like? Well, let me tell you this.
Well, before you do that, you have to make me a contract deal. You can't lie to me, ever.
No, I won't lie to you for 6 years, okay?
That's not enough. And apparently that's enough to hurt him. Because he needs to lie. He needs to lie all the time. It's just too much for him to have to say anything truthful.
Yes, apparently.
I guess that's just Isaac's character all around.
And then I guess the explanation here is Isaac is not a player, and specifically he uses the word main character.
Yes, he
like,
says
oh,
I'm not the main character.
I thought I was special, but apparently I'm not. It's you damn skeleton, right? But that's not just the important part. The other important part is that I think only characters retain memories after the world resets, right?
Yeah,
right.
Rubia and Reina have both retained some level of their previous selves, at least not to the same level as he has, but they both have like inklings of something else occurring. Rubia, though, is more or less a player like him because she has the blue screens.
But this also raises a question as to whether Reina is too, right?
Well, Reina hasn't made any mention that she sees those at all.
Yes, but that question has never been brought up whether or not she does it either, though, right?
No.
Because it wasn't until he was like, oh, wait, Rubia sees this shit too? Like, that was just a surprise, right?
Well,
and then now we've also gotten to the point where we also find out that Isaac is like, yeah, I don't retain any memories. That is not the same me. I thought that was me, but I remember
nothing. Yeah.
This is a brand new fresh start, and I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And
he is a static.
Yeah, so he's an NPC, and that's where they kind of leave off after like that explanation a bit, and then he's kind of like, okay, now the game plan is for you to go back to the snake guy and go get that deal from him, and he's like, wait, you want me to go make a deal with the devil? He's like, yeah, and if that doesn't work, I guess I will quote unquote make another sacrifice, but this is the easier way to do it. Go get that ability.
Go get this concealment ability. Go kill the leader of the guilds, or the founder of the guild, and you have to drink all of the Lulilum from that person.
From her. And man, that scene's gruesome because he's like bathing.
He's like
it's all this lilium on the ground, and he's just like, let me lap it up from the ground.
Slip it from the ground.
And I was like, oh, is that how that's going to end up being?
I'm pretty sure he just needed to touch it and it would just usually siphon into him. But apparently drinking it like a dog is also an option, I guess. yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it just ends with Isaac giving him like, all right, so basically we're gonna speed run this shit. And this is how you have to do it. Yeah. So the concealment magic is just too good to pass up. So he's gonna be playing the snake god again. And we haven't seen that there's any negative consequence to him like getting a blessing and then revoking the blessing. Because I mean, he did get the blessing from the Raven God with Isaac, and I mean, and at least that ability doesn't carry over because he hasn't been able to use any of the extra abilities he got from the blessing since he reset. So I don't know if he can get the concealment and then revoke his loyalty to them and still keep it.
No, I think Isaac is going to do something to cheat it.
And like this is how I'm going to give it. This is how you'll keep it regardless of the reset now, kind of thing.
Or at least for this run, like specifically for this run, because he's going to get the ability, the concealment ability, in order to like.
Well, he's going to need it to kill what's her name, at least. From
but not specifically for the reation that he was given the ability in the first place, right?
Oh yeah.
He has to go make the deal, and then once that deal is done, he'd be like, "Oh, okay." But then I don't think he's going to go through that, and then once he does that, then like whether or not Bodis will like keep him continuously give him the ability, so that he has to like figure something else out. And I think Isaac is going to just like, oh yeah, we just cheated this, we're just going to steal it from Bodis. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll see. Have to see what Isaac's full plan is here, because I mean, at least this time around, we know that he can't lie to him. So if at any point he asks him, all right, what the hell am I doing this for? Isaac has to tell him the truth. And yeah,
nothing at all.
I mean, if the ability also winds down to like he can just choose to not speak, if that will work in the same light. But well, we know that he did everything before with finding or meeting up with the other guild masters or the Merchants Guild to gain Rubia some guards. I know he met up with the barbarian lady so that she would become Rubia's knight, and he didn't meet up with Reyna. He did kill that one guy again. He threw the egg on him. I think that's just that guy's life cycle permanently now. He's just gonna die all the time.
No, you deserve this, bitch. Yeah. I don't get tired of watching this.
Yeah. And then meeting up with Isaac. So now the question, I don't know how much of his entire story, if he's only told Isaac the parts that involve him, because there is still the whole like Jill de Rey's thing going down that happens in the background, which I mean, if anything, he could just leave that to happen, and then that will take that one night out of the picture, because he's going to go on a blood quest to find who killed her, and then he ends up dying off panel.
Maybe. I mean, he's interrupting stuff now. We don't know.
Well, I mean, it mostly should, because we never got to that part in the previous one, because he intercepts the messages between those two and gives them to Bortus, and then Bortus's servant does that whole like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with you now because now you need to do this, and that's gonna let you know that at any point I can, kill this lover of yours if I really want to. Maybe. But yeah, so I don't know what the Lulilim is needed for this time though, exactly. I'm gonna guess it's for whatever plan.
There is not enough of it, okay?
What's up?
There's never enough of it.
I mean, there never seems to be enough for whatever thing comes up that he is trying to do. But I mean, Jill de Rey's entire body is Lulilim, so hopefully
to access that one privilege that he doesn't have yet.
Which one?
Remember, because he has to like he's saving up points to buy from the store.
Oh, the store.
He needs that one. He'd be like, no, I need that last slot. I was like, who knows what this might be, guys?
and then it turns into a blank number and it or blank letter and it's F. And then we realize it's the start of what we all came to fear.
Oh, okay.
You know how great that would be. Yes.
That'd be really funny.
That would be really horrible. I would hate the whole planet. But yeah, so we'll have to see what Isaac's plan is, exactly what he wants to do with this Lulilum, and if it'll be enough with whatever he's going to do. Hopefully it won't end in him fighting the knight again, because that never seems to work well. Or if he's gonna either use it to try and take on Bortus now head on. I mean, really, if he could just kill, because I mean, at least this time he knows who the leader of the snake cult is. So I mean, if he could just get a chance to kill him, that would solve a lot of problems on the back end.
Maybe.
I mean, he wouldn't have to worry about the one kingdom that Isaac was found in, them being used as experiments or transformed into the weird slug things. Rubia wouldn't be in the crossfire of having to be assassinated, so that she is removed as a possible heir for lordship. And then you also have the assassins group that are apparently working for Bortus because they have the same concealment or some variant of it.
I guess.
I mean, a lot of people seem to fall under the snake god's domain here, at least so far in the story. So, I mean, as long as he knows who the head is and the head doesn't know who he is, he could hopefully take him out at any time. Granted, we know that he tried once and it did not go well, but he's at least somewhat more prepared now. A little bit. Yeah. But anything else on those two chapters, though, that you got?
No.
No, nothing else. All right. Well, with that actually does bring us to the end of our current podcast, a very long one for that. As always, thank you everyone for joining us on all those reads. If you've got any comments about everything we've covered, definitely leave them down below. Give us some heads up on what you thought of all of the chapters that came out, and if there's any new reads you want us to check out. I know that our list has been growing. I am caught up on The Princess is Evil. I'm not sure if we're going to do the full review. I still got to speak with Ark on that one. There may be a few others. I saw that SS Class Suicide Hero started back up today. So definitely give us heads up on what your thoughts are for those chapters. But with that being said, I'm going to definitely close this off for the one last time here. I'm, of course, the big man Sleepy.
Oh, this is Ark Dragoon out.
Hey, everyone, take it easy out there.